Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. We sincerely apologize for beginning the news a bit late. This is due to circumstances beyond our control. My name is Sylvia Zulu, and here are the headlines. Government Chief Whip MULUSA confronts Speaker on bias accusations. Police warns against territory succession talk. Former Home Affairs Minister KAMPYONGO commences defense in alleged corruption case. In international news, Sudan war sends malnutrition rates up across the region. And in sports news, AFCON 2025 to be scheduled for July and August 2025 in Morocco. I will be back with the details after this.
It's a January back-to-school promotion bonanza at Darren Bay. Take advantage of our massive price discounts and turn your wonderful school-going kids into stars. With a cornrows hairstyle going at only 30 kwacha for kids below 13 years and 50 kwacha for kids above 13 years, your child is guaranteed that neat and trusted, classy look. This curly, knotless hairstyle is going for as little as 150 kwacha from as high as 200 kwacha, wigs included. Now that's a classy saving. The sleek ponytail going at 80 kwacha from 120 kwacha makes your little one look like a true princess. Gift your pretty one with this lovely natural twist for as low as 60 kwacha from 100 kwacha, beads included. Now that's a cute saving. Your princess will look stunning in this curly ponytail at only 90 kwacha from the original 110 kwacha. Now that is a great deal. You will find us along Mosi Road, 4th Close, on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post in Ibex Hill, Lusaka. We are open from 0720 to 17 hours, 7 days a week. Call us for appointment bookings on 0772 870588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049213. Darren B, a touch of class.
And now the news in detail. Lusaka is facing a shortage of vegetables due to the prolonged dry spell in many areas of the country. Traders at Soweto Market shared with Camnet TV News that prices have risen due to the scarcity of vegetables such as rape, Chinese and garden egg, impwa. Florence Banda, a trader, mentioned that market vendors are now spending nights at the market to ensure they secure enough vegetables for resale.
The effects of climate change have already started being felt. A shortage of vegetables has hit Lusaka as farmers are failing to produce enough due to the current dry spells, which is slowly turning into drought. Some traders spoken to by this journalist at Lusaka Soweto Market say for one to order the vegetables, they have to be as early as 01 hours, while others are spending a night here.
But ya dola futi ba twa limpira na kupenda kwenda pa mwamba sababu so hapa ulo tumende mkati mulipe mabeji walipe asirira tu 400 matomato eva ni ma 300 ma 3 chakuti pesa ongene sa Mozambique kuti uchoke yako nishikulipe
yote cheve nizo washota maningi 3/4 azimati kuona muno market tu odeko maosha but monga ni mapura 01 ni machitobunya taxi onili 50 kwacha pende
sote je munga lepu niyo shota lepu Chinese ba shota na imbo na zebu ndoshite kuchebe mu muzipezo ndoshite olwira cha tena mutuma kwa mazuro tupina ngoziro wa tena kutigona mu market uchibeze be mawo.
That's not all. The shortage has come with increased prices as explained by these traders.
Business bintu ni vodura benit kauda vodura za results in drama business. Da mwiti manje asoka kawazati kwacha abantu waka. Then veggie ya dura 2 or 3 as As a result, so much money like a stomach as well as then. I want to go to the drama. Then the last thing, like you can get 250. Sima Africa Mountain Land, Yambira 450. There is something last month 250. So to the whole dollar business plans. Kingana mavegis and again on Nonda, the Kamala. Kangen but it's still in Ganga, so you like waiting. Per Sunday is 335. 350 shortage every.
Awo maveji ya dula yafika kuma 300 400 solo utiti wote hapa kubena vanedisti so shabe ukaoda ndrama na odera ingena so shabe maveji ni kuyuma huko so life yone kamuga yafuta yako ni kuyuma mvula kujibe solo tiwote profesi kuibesi woneka ndrama futi ingena so nje problem antapezeka nayo mwandi
zona mitengo enda pamwamba maningi lepu ni 400 shaka tomato ni 350 shaka alumanda ni 200 shaka kalembula ni 200 shaka ya Chinese ni 300 shaka ya impa ni 350 shaka de ni 450 kudate zokula 250 200 impa 150 lepo 150 tikatandea kuli walimi wakamba utimanzi siyamenyaliso ti
nanikane maveji kulo ya dula lepo ya dula tigula lepo saka lepo 380 350 same na Chinese 350 380 so chabe saka imba tigula 380 saka dele 450 me business kulipe ukamuza customer taka 50 kwa cha sagu muze 45 sagu afuna 25 so kubebeti pesa.
For now, it's every Zambian's hope that the Creator will hear and respond to every unsaid prayers from His creation. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Persons with cross-cutting disabilities in Lumezi district have hailed the government for ensuring inclusiveness in the implementation of the Constituency Development Fund CDF empowerment programs. Lumezi Disability Cooperative Multipurpose Society Limited Secretary Sylvester Piri says the 70,000 kwacha loan they acquired under the Constituency Development Fund CDF is an indication of the government's commitment to ensure no one is left behind in the implementation of CDF projects. A group of 129 persons with disabilities based in Lumezi district received a business boost of 70,000 kwacha from the Constituency Development Fund CDF loan empowerment after its successful application in 2023. And Lumezi District Commissioner Lufeyongoma says the government is keen to ensure inclusive implementation of CDF projects in the district. Mr. Ngoma said the district administration will work closely with the organization to help alleviate their challenges.
Iti chitira bwino so apatirina huku zamene ziliko zingono kupotri house kwatu kwa mene tinashita rent food manje ziliko zokwana ngati 200 again tungono tuwana kwa mene tizatubweresa pa 28 koma sofa vakudya tinabweresa mazo vonse biliko tinaguliratu then chamene chitivutirapo nkhuku zifuna ma right kwa mene tisebenzera na tuma solars kwa mene tinachitugula koma tumativutirapo usiku twazima anyanchito watu siwa kwanisa bwino kuti basebeze bwino na nkhuku ndiye so challenge imabweresa kuti nkhuku zathu ziche bwanji zife.
They have engaged me. We are in the process of finding a place where they can build a permanent structure, because looking at the kind of people where they are, they cannot be able to find it themselves. So they have engaged me to find them a piece of land, of course maybe through CDF and the money that they are making now with the poultry business. They can be able to build a permanent structure where they can expand the business of poultry. So we are working together with them, and closely we are monitoring what they are doing.
The Cleaning Association of Zambia has urged the government to tackle the challenges posed by the fluctuating local currency and elevated fuel prices, which are adversely impacting the sector. Association President Lawrence Makumbi says the instability of the Zambian kwacha against major currencies, particularly the United States dollar, is making it difficult for businesses in the cleaning sector to thrive. Mr. Makumbi explains about the dependence on imported equipment for cleaning, further exacerbating the challenges faced by the industry.
On January 31st, 2024, the Energy Regulation Board increased the prices of petrol from 29 kwacha 98 ngwe to 34 kwacha 19 ngwe per litre, while diesel was increased from 29 kwacha 96 ngwe to 32 kwacha 15 ngwe for the month of February. On the other hand, the kwacha depreciated to a record high in recent days. In this regard, the Cleaning Association of Zambia has called on government to address the fluctuating local currency and high fuel prices, as the trend has affected the sector.
The cleaning sector is suffering terribly in losses because of the fluctuations of the dollar. We know that, and we know and appreciate that in recent days the kwacha has gained strength. But we in the cleaning sector import over 90% of the items we use. The mops, the brooms, the chemicals that we use to make dishwash, hand wash, sanitizer are all imported. We don't manufacture those raw materials. Hence, when the dollar goes up, when the fuel is fluctuating each and every month.
Association President Lawrence Makumbi notes that the unstable kwacha against convertible currencies has heavily affected the sector, as most of the items used in cleaning are imported.
We have a problem in that we go into losses, and these losses are because we have fixed rate contracts with our clients, and we cannot be renegotiating each and every month. Hence, we want to ask the president, as he has said, fuel after 3 months, then the dollar should be stable so that we can also plan well, so that we can pay our workers better, we can make a bit of profit so that we can develop our country. Zambians will only be developed by Zambians if us in business are able to get handsome profits. We can even create more jobs if we have a stable economy, a stable forex exchange rate.
In recent weeks, the kwacha depreciated to a record high of about 27 kwacha 15 ngwe per $1, and in recent days, the local currency has seen a steady appreciation, with $1 selling at around 24 kwacha 24 ngwe as of Monday, 19th February 2024. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Government Chief Whip Stafford MULUSA has expressed concern about the growing disregard for parliamentary procedures by members of parliament, both inside and outside the House. Mr. MULUSA says some members of parliament last week held a press briefing making claims that the Speaker hinders their debate time on crucial national matters, potentially misleading the public. Speaking during a press conference Tuesday afternoon at his office at Parliament, Mr. MULUSA stressed that debating the Speaker's character and impartiality outside established standing orders violates parliamentary privileges. He has since advised MPs to refrain from involving professional staff in politics.
Government Chief Whip in the National Assembly, Stafford MULUSA, has urged members of Parliament to observe high levels of decorum in the House. Mr. MULUSA says he has noted with concern, since the National Assembly resumed last week, an increase in disregard to parliamentary procedures and decorum both within and outside the House. Speaking during a press conference Tuesday afternoon in Lusaka at Parliament buildings, Mr. MULUSA says some opposition, Patriotic Front PF and independent members of Parliament have been debating the character and impartiality of the Speaker, a situation which has potential to mislead the public.
Freedom of speech is enjoyed inside the House, and it is the duty of each member of Parliament to refrain from making any comments or observations which may be prejudicial to the privileges, rights, dignity, and authority of the House, which he himself or herself enjoys. Therefore, freedom of speech in the House is merely from external influence or interference, but the expressions may still remain to be punishable by the House if they are not positively supported by the facts.
Mr. MULUSA has since disclosed that the House is in receipt of complaints of breach of parliamentary privileges due to statements issued by some independent and patriotic front members of parliament.
We have received complaints of breach of parliamentary privileges that have since been received by both the Office of the Speaker and that of the Clerk of the National Assembly regarding the statements issued by independent members and the Patriotic Front opposition members of Parliament purporting unfairness with regards to the proceedings in the House.
Meanwhile, the Chief Whip has dispelled assertions of tribalism in the staff at National Assembly attributed to Rumezi Member of Parliament, Munia Zulu, who claims that the professional staff at Parliament is coming from Zambezi provinces.
You will never hear that a staff has been retired in national interest or any of similar issues. Therefore, to suggest that staff from Parliament were from Zambezi province is most unfortunate and careless on the part of Honorable Munia Zulu.
Mr. MULUSA has since bemoaned the trend of some opposition members of Parliament who leave the House after logging in, stating that it is counterproductive to their ability to provide checks and balances to the executive. For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
The Zambia Council for Social Development, ZCSD, has called on government to establish a system safeguarding the land ownership of indigenous citizens. ZCSD Executive Director Leah Mitara has observed the indigenous citizens often face displacement, particularly after the discovery of minerals. Ms. Mitara has since proposed a collaborative approach, suggesting that investors should partner with landowners to mutually benefit from mineral resources instead of causing displacement.
A throwback of stories carried by Camnet TV of indigenous Zambians being displaced at the hands of investors. The Zambia Council for Social Development Executive Director Leah Mitara has described this trend as unfortunate, especially that Zambia is looking to reduce poverty by the year 2030.
Land is also what makes us, alienates us from the rest of the world as Zambians. I'm Zambian because of where I was born or where I've now changed, if I've changed my citizenship. So basically, land is also part of who we are. So it's sad when we see poor rural communities being forced to migrate from their land because they don't have money. For instance, when mineral deposits are discovered on the land where they've lived with their ancestors. We've had instances where even graves are actually exhumed. And I think we've been calling on government to ensure that we adopt an approach that protects the indigenous citizens. And I think world over, there are countries that are so big on indigenous rights.
Ms. Mitara has since called on government to come up with a mechanism that will protect the indigenous Zambians in any circumstance.
It's unfair for the government to just sell that land and remove me from the equation. Is there a possibility where an investor can then partner with that community on whose land these minerals are being found? You know, minerals are a diminishing resource. Right now we have Kawe as one of the world's most polluted places. And meanwhile, the people that benefited from the lead mining and other minerals have exited. Who has remained is the indigenous citizens, and they have to make do with the health hazards that are coming out of the lead poisoning that is in Kawe. So it's important for government to protect its citizens and not to displace its citizens. So our call for us is that if a community is found and gold is found where that community is, and I think right now in Lufusa there's that mayhem, it's important for government to negotiate and come up with a regime that protects the owners of that particular land.
Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
A 31-year-old judiciary officer who is accused of stealing a child from the University Teaching Hospital with the assistance of some staff members has opted to remain silent in her defense. Precious Nkunika, who is jointly charged with 4 others on theft allegation charges, informed the Lusaka Magistrate Court Tuesday morning of their right to remain silent in their defense. This is in a matter in which the 5 accused persons are alleged to have stolen a 6-day-old baby from its mother.
A judiciary stores officer and 4 others have opened their defense in the matter in which they are accused of stealing a baby at the University Teaching Hospital, UTH. This follows the last sitting in which Lusaka Magistrate Crispin Hampungani found the accused with a case to answer. Testifying when the matter came up for defense, accused number 2, Emily Ho, 39, a nutrition demonstrator at D Block section at the University Teaching Hospital, UTH, testified that her workmate from the same section, Nelly Kasalo, 43, called her while home that there was a case of a missing child on the day they were supposed to switch working shifts. She told the court that on the 13th of May 2022, when she reported for work around 13 hours, the stories of a missing baby continued and was later called by the sister in charge before knocking off. Emily and 7 others were later arrested by police detective Malambo and detained at Kawata police station and later transferred to Richard Kachingwe police post, where she found Precious Nkunika, Nelly Kasalo, Rebecca Mkandawire and Grace Siska, in whom were later taken back to Kawata police station for a parade meant for identification, where a concerned woman managed to identify 2 of the accused, Emily Ho and Nelly Kasalo. When cross-examined by state prosecutor Isaac Munengu whether it was right to say that she was involved in the missing baby, the accused responded by saying yes, because she had been implicated because of working from the said wards and was not aware of any other reasons before court. However, another witness, Nelly Kasalo, 43, a nutrition demonstrator at UTH from the Women and Newborn Hospital, testified that it was true that the baby went missing but could not tell under what circumstances, and both witnesses refuted ever receiving 3,500 kwacha from accused number 1, Precious Nkunika. As such, Lusaka Magistrate Crispin Hampungani set April 12, 2024 as judgment date in a matter the 5 are accused of stealing a baby at the University Teaching Hospital. It is alleged that on May 7, 2022, the accused with intent to deprive Elina Lungu as a parent with lawful care stole a child under the age of 16 years from the position of Mrs. Lungu. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Former Minister of Home Affairs Stephen Kampyongo has commenced his defense in his alleged corrupt-related case. Opening his defense Tuesday morning, Mr. Kampyongo informed the Lusaka Magistrate Court that he could not account for the value attached to the properties by the state, but only account for what he spent on the properties and how he acquired the properties in question. His lawyers have submitted documents stating the notice of termination of the property in one of the counts after the accused submitted that the said property is no longer his. In this matter, Mr. Kampyongo has been jointly charged with his wife, Wanizia Chilwa, and are facing 11 counts of being in possession of property suspected to be proceeds of crime. The matter has been adjourned to February 26, 2024 for continuation of defense. Former Deputy Inspector General of Police Charity Katanga has asked the Lusaka Magistrate Court to grant her bail pending appeal to the High Court. In a notice of intention to appeal through her lawyers, Mrs. Katanga says that Chief Resident Magistrate Davis Chibwili erred in law and fact when he found that there was reasonable suspicion that the 10 Haiger buses were proceeds of crime. Mrs. Katanga was Monday convicted and sentenced to 3 years simple imprisonment for being in possession of 10 Haiger buses suspected to be proceeds of crime.
Barely 48 hours, convicted former Deputy Inspector General of Police Charity Katanga has asked the Lusaka Magistrate Court to grant her bail pending an appeal to the High Court against her 3 years imprisonment for possession of 10 Haiger buses deemed to be proceeds of crime. In a notice of intention to appeal through her lawyers, Mrs. Katanga submits that Lusaka Chief Resident Magistrate Davis Chibwili erred in law by holding that there is reasonable suspicion that her 10 Haiger buses are proceeds of crime. The former Deputy Inspector General of Police also submits that Magistrate Chibwili erred in law by discounting the testimony of her uncle, Joseph Piri, who testified during trial that he lent her part of the money for the purchase of the buses. She however argues that Magistrate Chiwili erred in law and fact when he failed to acquit her at the stage of case or no case to answer. During judgment Monday, Magistrate Chiwili sidelined Mr. Piri's testimony, citing lack of records. But in the latest legal pursuit, Mrs. Katanga has applied for bail pending appeal, contending that her case is bailable and is confident that the appeal will succeed. Mrs. Katanga was arrested in 2022 for possessing 10 Higer buses reasonably suspected of being proceeds of crime. Particulars of the offense are that Charity Katanga between January 1st and June 6th, 2022 in Lusaka, jointly and whilst acting together with other persons unknown, did possess 10 Higer buses valued at 26,282,770 kwacha, property reasonably suspected of being proceeds of crime. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
We now take our first set of commercials. Do join me with more news after the break.
Are you looking for a reliable and efficient courier company with international standards? Then let UBZ Courier, your trusted partner in swift and secure deliveries, be your ultimate choice. Whether it's a small package or a hefty consignment, UBZ Courier handles it all, locally and internationally. Our modern call center ensures personalized attention for every client. For seamless deliveries within Zambia and beyond, trust UBZ Courier. Call us now on +260 763 062 680 or visit us at plot number 15 Mwapona Road, Woodlands, Lusaka, Zambia. UBZ Courier, a world-class brand that can be trusted.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palavana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
It's a January back-to-school promotion bonanza at Darren Bay. Take advantage of our massive price discounts and turn your wonderful school-going kids into stars. With a cornrows hairstyle going at only 30 kwacha for kids below 13 years and 50 kwacha for kids above 13 years, your child is guaranteed that neat and trusted, classy look. This curly, knotless hairstyle is going for as little as 150 kwacha from as high as 200 kwacha, wigs included. Now that's a classy saving. The sleek ponytail going at 80 kwacha from 120 kwacha makes your little one look like a true princess. Gift your pretty one with this lovely natural twist for as low as 60 kwacha from 100 kwacha, beads included. Now that's a cute saving. Your princess will look stunning in this curly ponytail at only 90 kwacha from the original 110 kwacha. Now that is a great deal. You will find us along Mosi Road, 4th Close, on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post in Ibex Hill, Lusaka. We are open from 0720 to 17 hours, 7 days a week. Call us for appointment bookings on 0772 870588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049213. Darren B, a touch of class.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Renglow, your smart irrigation partner.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We now continue with more news. Lusaka Animal Welfare Society, LAWS, has called for improved legislation to safeguard the welfare of animals in the country. In an interview, LAWS Vice Chairperson Sheila Oparocha has expressed concern about the widespread trade of dog meat in Zambia. She says the lack of adequate health inspections has resulted in unscrupulous individuals slaughtering dogs and selling them as goat meat. Dr. Oparocha says consuming dog meat can increase the risk of zoonotic disease, including the spread of parasites and other diseases that can infect humans, agricultural animals, and wildlife.
An animal that is meant to be man's best friend has turned into a delicacy in some parts of the country. The continued occurrence of dog meat being sold in some parts of the country has disturbed the Lusaka Animal Welfare Society that is calling for effective measures to be put in place in the handling of animals.
We felt there's a sense of urgency to bring to light to both our government authorities, but also to members of the public, of a very detestable incident that's happening, and that is the trade in dog meat. That we need to have investigations and we need to have actions to stop this as soon as possible.
Dr. Sheila Oparocha, Lusaka Animal Welfare Society Vice Chairperson, claims that animals are being kidnapped, stolen, and transported through Kasumbalesa border and taken to the DRC Congo, whilst others are being slaughtered in the country without being tested as being fit for human consumption.
Two things that are happening. One, we find that animals are being kidnapped, stolen from pet owners here in Zambia, and are being transported and crossing over the border through, we believe, from our investigations, which are still ongoing, but we've got evidence on the ground, they're being transported through Kasumbalesa and going to DRC. That's one. The second one, and this has been documented through two cases that happened in Kabwe, where dogs are being slaughtered and being traded off as goat meat and being sold to unaware members of the public.
Dr. Aparocha further says that as a country that does not tolerate corruption and illegalities, the selling of dogs on the black market should not be tolerated.
When this is happening, this is an illegal business, and in Zambia we do not tolerate. We know that one of the things that our current government that is in place, our heads of state have said, zero tolerance for corruption. Zero tolerance for this type of behavior, and he has asked all of us to join him against the fight of corruption. For us as animal welfare, we feel this is illegal, it is corrupt, and we need to stop it.
Recently, a Kawe man was arrested for illegally selling dog meat in Kawe. Cherish Sibote for Camnet News, Lusaka.
NAPSA reports a registration of more than 80,000 workers whose employers diligently fulfill their contributions. Head of Corporate Affairs, Kefa Sinyangwe, specifies that among these, 11,000 are domestic workers, encompassing small-scale farmers, marketeers, bus drivers, and household helpers. Mr. Sinyangwe emphasizes the legal obligation for all employers to register their workers, underscoring that compliance ensures Social Security for employees post-retirement.
The National Pension Scheme Authority, NAPSA, says collecting contributions from household workers remains a challenge, as several employers deduct from their employees without remitting the funds. As a social protection tool, NAPSA contributions plays a key role in safeguarding citizens from shock or vulnerability in times of sickness, retirement or loss of employment. NAPSA Head of Corporate Affairs, Kefas Sinyangwe, says it is a law that all domestic workers register with NAPSA.
Good, well and good, but if they do not make good, we can actually have them prosecuted. Just recently there was a newspaper article of a director who was detained for not remitting workers' contributions. It could be that you are contributing, or you are deducting, or it could be that you are actually not even deducting. But remember, the law places the responsibility of deducting and making that contribution to NAPSA on the employer.
Speaking in an interview, Mr. Sinyangwe has since urged all workers to demand 5% of their total pay to be remitted to the authority.
Of sometimes employers deducting, because remember, for NAPSA purposes, the employer contributes 5% of the employee's gross salary, and the employee contributes 5%. Obviously subject to a maximum ceiling. But we have some cases where employers deduct from the employee and do not remit to NAPSA. Now that is criminal. If such an employer is found and is discovered, they will be prosecuted. Of course, we follow through the processes of asking them to make good. If they make good, well and good, but if they do not make good, we can actually have them prosecuted.
NAPSA contributions play a key role in social security and prevent old age poverty. Prudence Chibwe, Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
The Child Advocate for Justice has urged parents to acquaint themselves with the recently enacted Child Act, Code number 12 of 2024. In an interview, SCJ Executive Director Josephat Njovu highlights the significance of parents in a child's life as acknowledged by the Law Act. According to Mr. Njovu, the Child Act introduces significant changes to enhance the welfare of children in the country, including international provisions aimed at ensuring proper child protection rights.
The Child Code Act number 2 of 2022 was amended on the 11th October 2023. This Child Act emphasizes and recognizes the vital role that parents play in a child's life. Section 26 of the Act outlines the responsibilities of parents, which encompasses providing children with food, shelter, clothing, medical care, education, and most importantly, guidance.
So as the Zambia Police Service, we want to see actually where this thing is coming from. We have come to realize that these people are coming from homes. You see, these people have got homes, have got families. So we talk to their parents, we talk to their guardians to see how they can assist us.
In agreement with police, Advocacy for Child Executive Director Josephat Njovu says the act has brought a lot of changes on children's rights.
In Zambia, we as an organization, we feel that the enactment of the Children's Code Act has brought a lot of changes, and as a nation, we are now in line with the internationally accepted provisions, or we are in line with the international legislation that we have ratified as a country, and we feel that the enactment of it.
Mr. Njovu further says the Child Act has strengthened government system on children's rights and brought about sanity in the system. He adds that the Child Act has stipulated measures that protect children from social media abuse and unsolicited materials.
A bit of awareness, of course, in the community as well, which is very positive. I think we've seen that even amongst social media users, we've seen that the law has been emphasized, and civil society have actually raised an alarm when it comes to exposure of children in the social media abuse, online abuse, because the Children's Code Act has provisions that actually prohibits such kind of abuse and misuse of social media detriment of the children themselves, or the development of children. So these are some of the issues that we see that the Children's Code Act has actually achieved. You know, we've seen the issue of child marriages, you know, which is very topical, in Zambia. You know that Zambia has been one of the...
As the Bible says in Proverbs 22 verse 6, train up a child in the way he should grow, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Prudence Chibwe, Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
The Zambia Police Service says it will immediately take decisive action against any person found to be promoting or inciting any form of uprising or secession. Inspector General of Police Grafael Musamba says the service has noted recent careless utterances by certain individuals suggesting succession of territory belonging to the Republic of Zambia. In a statement, Mr. Musamba says going forward, such individuals will be promptly arrested and prosecuted in accordance with the established laws of the Republic of Zambia. He adds that the seriousness of these offences cannot be overstated and the consequences will be severe for those who choose to engage in activities that threaten the peace and stability of Zambia. Mr. Musamba has since sternly warned all individuals who may have intentions of committing such illegality to cease and desist from such actions immediately. We now take our final set of commercials. Do join me for the rest of the news after this break.
It's a January back-to-school promotion bonanza at Darren Bay. Take advantage of our massive price discounts and turn your wonderful school-going kids into stars. With a cornrows hairstyle going at only 30 kwacha for kids below 13 years and 50 kwacha for kids above 13 years, your child is guaranteed that neat and trusted, classy look. This curly, knotless hairstyle is going for as little as 150 kwacha from as high as 200 kwacha, wigs included. Now that's a classy saving. The sleek ponytail going at 80 kwacha from 120 kwacha makes your little one look like a true princess. Gift your pretty one with this lovely natural twist for as low as 60 kwacha from 100 kwacha, beads included. Now that's a cute saving. Your princess will look stunning in this curly ponytail at only 90 kwacha from the original 110 kwacha. Now that is a great deal. You will find us along Mosi Road, 4th Close, on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post in Ibex Hill, Lusaka. We are open from 0720 to 17 hours, 7 days a week. Call us for appointment bookings on 0772 870588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049213. Darren B, a touch of class.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Rain Glow, your smart irrigation partner.
And now for the rest of the news. In foreign news, at least 25 million people are struggling with soaring rates of hunger and malnutrition as the crisis in Sudan sends shockwaves around the region, the body elated. The WFP also deployed a lack of resources to try to address the humanitarian crisis. Thousands of families are being displaced and forced across borders into Chad and South Sudan each week, said Annabelle Santan, a spokesperson for WFP. Some 1.8 million people fleeing the war mainly have found refuge in neighboring Chad and South Sudan, but these grapple with their own fragilities. Here's a roundup of international news.
The UN World Food Programme warned Monday that the 10-month-long war in Sudan has meant malnutrition is soaring across the region and is creating the world's largest displacement crisis. The body also deplored a lack of resources necessary to address the humanitarian crisis.
At the moment, unfortunately, we don't have the funds and we don't have the access to be reaching people at the need, at the scale that is required right now.
Some 1.8 million people fleeing the war mainly found refuge in Chad and South Sudan, which grapple with their own issues.
In both these countries, the rainy season is coming soon, and with that, it's going to get even harder to reach people. We need to be pre-positioning assistance right now to make sure that we can sustain a response. We're unable to do that. And on top of that, these countries, Chad, South Sudan, they're dealing with their own hunger crises. So this is really crisis building on crisis.
18 million people are acutely food insecure in Sudan, according to the World Food Programme. Guinea's ruling National Council of the Rally for Development, CRND, has dissolved the interim government in the West African nation. A decree was read on state television on Monday by the presidency's Secretary General. The decree provides that cabinet directors, secretary generals and their deputies will be in charge until a new government is formed. The presidency's Secretary General, Amara Kamara, didn't say when a new administration would be appointed though. The government had been in office since July 2022. Guinea's military junta is headed by General Mamadi Doumbouya, who took power by force in September 2021. Under pressure, the then colonel agreed with ECOWAS on return to civilian rule by the end of 2024.
Imprisoned Tunisian opposition leader Rachid Ghannouchi went on hunger strike on Monday in solidarity with other anti-government figures waging a protest fast. Ghannouchi, a fierce critic of President Kais Saied and head of the Ennahda main opposition party, was jailed last year on charges of incitement against police and plotting against state security. Earlier this month, in a separate case, a judge sentenced the 82-year-old to 3 years in prison on charges of accepting external financing. His lawyers said in a statement that while Ghannouchi is fighting the empty stomach battle, Tunisians must adhere to a democratic nation that includes everyone on the basis of freedom and the independence of the judiciary. 6 opposition leaders arrested last year in a crackdown began an open-ended hunger strike last week to protest at their imprisonment without trial and to demand their immediate release.
A new speculation hints that Africa Cup of Nations AFCON 2025 could be held in the summer. The Confederation of African Football (CAF) has given its agreement in principle for the competition to be held in July-August 2025 in Morocco. This is to avoid interfering with the first 32-team club World Cup scheduled for June 2025. CAF President Patrice Motsepe has refused to give the exact dates for the postponed AFCON, but on Monday, an official from the committee in charge of competitions is reported by RFI to have said there was an agreement in principle between CAF and the Moroccan Football Federation for the AFCON to be held during the summer, more precisely in July and August 2025.
Initially scheduled for January to February 2025, new speculation hints that AFCON 2025 could be held in the summer. CAF President Patrice Motsepe has refused to give the date for the postponed AFCON, but on Monday, an official from the committee in charge of competitions is reported in the media to have said there was an agreement in principle between CAF and the Moroccan Football Federation for the AFCON to be held during the summer, more precisely in July and August 2025. 2025. The two previous AFCONs were already postponed. CAN 2021 was played in January-February 2022 in Cameroon, and the most recent African Cup, still officially named AFCON 2023, began on January 13 in Côte d'Ivoire, before being won by the host country a week ago. Qualifying for the AFCON 2025 has still not begun. A preliminary round is scheduled for March 18 to 26 according to the CAF calendar.
That's it for our main news tonight. Here's a recap of the stories making headlines. Government Chief Whip MULUSA confronts Speaker on bias accusations. Police warns against territory succession talk. Former Home Affairs Minister KAMPYONGO commences defense in alleged corruption case. In international news, Sudan war sends malnutrition rates up across the region. And in sports news, AFCON 2025 to be scheduled for July-August 2025 in Morocco. Our verse of the day is coming from the book of Hebrews 11, verse 1. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Good evening.